What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Wednesday, March 1st, 2023. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Don't forget to say rabbit, rabbit first thing when you wake up. It is the start of a new month, and good luck. This could be a very lucky month. It's got potential to go a lot of different ways. There's so many different variable outcomes, but there is a lot of good luck to start this month off. And it is a crazy month. Pluto ingressing, Saturn ingressing, Mars ingressing after what feels like an eternity, like a Pluto cycle, right? So, rabbit, rabbit for good luck. Let's take a look at the horoscope for this March 1st, 2023. We're going to see the sun come to 11 degrees Pisces. Of course, that's not the big deal, though. It is a divine number, though, a master number. Not so much in astrology a master degree, but it does bring that sort of dual identification of really seeing the self. And it also makes it two, so it becomes very emotional at the same time. But this right here, Venus and Jupiter, are finally making their conjunction. They will make it at 9:35 p.m. So on the east coast of the United States, you will see it 12:45 a.m. So it will be March 2nd. But nonetheless, we are in this time where we're seeing these two planets come together. Definitely take a look at the sky tonight. You will see Venus passing Jupiter as the sun's setting. It'll be beautiful. I should have mentioned this in yesterday's horoscope to look up the night prior on Tuesday night, because that's going to be, Venus approaching. But either way, both ways. But gosh, coming into a new month, starting things off, Venus being the dispositor of the North Node and with the great benefic of Jupiter, there's just a lot of potential here. These are things that we have to identify with. We have to come to these creative, powerful, knowing with Jupiter, abundant aspects. We have to really get into that Aries energy too, right? So there is this identity, knowing you can create, knowing you're strong, knowing you're the leader of your life, being able to initiate, right? At the same time with Aries. So becoming that emperor, that empress, super important. We could see some big things happen with money. I do like that Venus and the sun are still in their mutual reception. So if we look at Venus, it's a +4 and the sun gets a +8 in essential dignities because of course, Venus is exalted in Pisces and the sun is exalted in Aries, as I mentioned before. But you know what's cool about this mutual reception is that this whole transit for Venus in Aries, it's going to have a high score. So it's not getting, afflicted so poorly as it could be if, the sun was in Aries or Taurus or however, the cards could have fallen. It didn't. It fell this way, really amplifying, and Jupiter's there. How do you use this Taurus energy? It's all about creation. I think that this is where you choose your story, you choose your path, you identify, you grab your power. It's interesting because there's a programming to life to where we want, reassurance from others, or we want other people to go on the journey too. How many times in our life have we been like, I want to go to this place. Will you go with me? And they say no. And we're just like, oh, okay. I won't go then, because we don't want to go by ourselves. I'm not saying that's what it's like today or moving forward here, but there is some really powerful energy to where if you really want to do something and you know that it's something that's teaching you something or showing you or helping you experience or grow in some way, do it. And don't lack the confidence to just go create your life, because just going to experience something or on that impulse that can bring some good feeling to you, instead of relying on somebody else wanting to do it, go do what you want to do. And I think that that's where, it's important. And I think that's where Chiron can play into it too, is because again, I couldn't do that alone. I mean, sure, some things we can't do alone. I'm not going to say that, we're supposed to be loners here, but this is a very important time, I think, to not feel like you can't do something because somebody else doesn't want to do it, or because of even some way that society, with Saturn at night at 29 degrees, this anaretic degree of Aquarius, super edgy, kind of like what everybody else is doing. It's also like using that 29th degree to liberate yourself for a path that you want to go on and being able to do it alone if you have to. That's one thing about Aquarius is it is the waves that separate. So even with Saturn here and Mercury coming together to meet with Saturn by the end of the night, and then Mercury getting ready to ingress into its fall position of Pisces, this is like a really potent time to understand that you have the authority to go your own way, to individuate. Doing everything the same as always isn't cool. That's why Aquarius gets the cool sign, because it does things its own way. It does things differently. So I do think that this is very important to not feel wounded when you want to do something, but to find and muster up the courage to be able to be independent. That is the ticket. And I would say too, it's not like coming from this like harsh ego place, but it can kind of feel like we have to be that way. But we still want to have the sun in Pisces, right? White moon Selena and Neptune together in Pisces. It's all from compassion. Like it's all from love. It's all from your heart. So if you want to do something, it's not that you're trying to like project onto somebody else that, they need to do it too, or like they're not, they don't understand. Like it's really just a compassion to be like, yeah, you're flowing this way, I'm flowing that way. I'm going to do what is unique and special to me. So I do think that there's a very potent understanding, especially with Mercury and Saturn coming together at that 29th degree of Aquarius. There's definitely a lot of things coming to a clarifying point, and I think that we'll have the authority to start to see where that journey is going and to feel hopefully abundant about it and empowering, even though it can be a little weird because some of the things that maybe we want to do, we just know other people aren't going to. They're just going to, everybody's kind of, you're going to start to see people just going different directions. And I know we already have, but this is where we could start to really see people like, I'm sorry, I'm compassionate, but this isn't my journey. This is. So that's where I'm at with that. It's definitely a loaded day energetically. But I think there is something about the heart. There's something about the things in life that make you feel good that your mind simply has a grasp of, like maybe it didn't before. So we want to use that. The moon's going to be in Cancer, definitely, of course, bringing up some sensitivities, but gosh, Venus, Jupiter, the two benefics coming together. We got Mercury and Saturn coming together, giving us this like really structured way to understand the unknowable or the unpredictable. And then a moon in Cancer, dignified, trying to feel secure within oneself. Even though it's highly emotional, we could be a little sensitive, especially with a trine over to the sun in Pisces. But dang, like there's a lot of good things going in this chart. Like a lot of good things, because it's almost like there's this intuitive knowing. It does remind me of like the Chariot card. Like, I know I have to go this way, and I'm going to be good, and I'm divinely guided and protected, and I'm here, I'm whole. I can take care of myself, and I can be compassionate and loving and nurturing to everything that is in front of me on my journey. And the moon's also going to make good aspects to the nodes, with a sextile to the north node and a trine to the south node. So like there is a huge transformation, of course, that's taking place. And I just think that like the more secure you can be within transformation and where things are going and seeing the abundance and the beauty and the harmony that is within you to decide, you're going to feel so good and so potent today. And the moon, not only is it going to trine the sun, but it's also going to sextile over to Jupiter and Venus. So it's definitely like really, really good energy. Like, yes, it's going to sextile over to Chiron too, but Chiron, in that sextile, it's like you will feel more at home in your body, in your emotions, just within yourself, the stuff that people don't see, but the way that you actually feel if you're identifying with it and courageously moving forward. And, I think we don't want to sidestep a lot of things right now. I think that it's like, it's much more black and white. Maybe that's using the South Node in Scorpio to be like, oh, you know what? This is black and white. I see what's going on here. There's not deception, there's identification. So I think that it really is just like being able to identify what is best and abundant and creating and potent in your life, and to take that authority. And even Pluto at 29 Capricorn is like, are you ready to take some deep authority for your destiny? Like, what did you come here to do? There's a lot of finding that today. It's really nice. I'm not going to lie. Mars is at 19 degrees of Gemini, which it's getting closer. It's going to be in 5 degrees orb now to that square to Neptune. So, there's so much good aspects in the astrology right now. Like, yes, it's edgy as all hell. I'm not going to lie to you. We're like on a crazy precipice, but it's like you have to identify with the security to know you're good without knowing what the future holds, but being willing to go on the journey, right? And then Mars is squaring Neptune, where we can feel a little paralyzed here. Like these first couple, this next week is going to be very interesting. And as Saturn's getting ready to come into Pisces on March 7th, so just a week away, like we're getting Mars square Neptune and a full moon in Virgo. So it's almost like we need to reevaluate the truth of our environments, clean up our environments. Maybe there is a reality check in order, so that we can kind of like, we almost have to just go into chaos to find order. It's almost like we want this like safe, secure way so much, but we have to like create some kind of a chaos. Now, hopefully it's not chaos like a complete circus show, or just like, I mean, the world could be getting to that place, don't get me wrong, but in our personal lives, I think that we have to shake things up to eventually sift out what it is that makes sense and what's of truth, and how to respond quick, because Mars in Gemini is quick, and Mars is starting to finally go faster. We're getting 24 minutes of geometry a day, so it is going, about a little over half speed. So Mars is finally starting to move. And yeah, I mean, I just think we are in a place where we can act quicker, more instinctually, to what makes sense. But it's trying to understand just the logic portion that is going to be difficult right now, because there is something deeper than that. There is much more of an intuitive feel, and gosh, we can try and prove our intuition all we want, but sometimes when we do that, that's just our ego trying to force something. Like, we just have to move with things right now. So I think that's the ticket, is just to move with where your gut and your emotion and your heart wants you to go, but it takes courage and strength, and we have to be able to identify with what it is, even if it's still kind of weird putting all the pieces together. We have this like knowing. It's just, do we have to, does it have to be proven? I don't know. Maybe it'll get proven down the road with all this, late degree Aquarius energy with Saturn and Mercury. Honestly, yeah, we're connecting to future timelines 100%. When will that future timeline show up for us? Well, that's when we don't know. We don't know when that'll show up, but we know that we're feeling it, we're seeing it, we're understanding it. Even if there's like pieces in the middle that are broken up, that's okay. It really is. And Isis is down here at 7 Virgo, and the moon's also going to make good aspects to Isis. So I just think that there is a divine feminine urge. There's a calling to purify, to find security, to create, and to, expand. And it's the expansion without fear of what happens if we grow and learn and expand that is paving the way. But we can't be scared to do it. So we have to that's part of the South Node Scorpio too. There's always going to be some kind of a block or a fear or a boundary. But are we willing to kind of move past boundaries? It's Pisces season. There's infinite potential. Jupiter is ever expanding. Venus is there with the North Node dispositor. It's ever expanding, and there's infinite possibilities. So it's about being able to at least give those possibilities a shot. But if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, well, that's a definition of insanity, and that is very Piscean too, with those fish circling around each other over and 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 over again. use that as you will in your life. I think we are all realizing some pattern has to break to get to this big potential that we can feel, or even just a more sense of purpose for being here, if you will. Whatever purpose is to you. I don't think, again, their purpose is so different for everybody. Some people's purpose is to be the president of a country. Some people's purpose is to be a school teacher. Some people's purpose is to be the trash man, right? And everything has its purpose. So this is just about finding happiness, creating the life that is valuable and abundant to you, and to feel comfortable within yourself through change and through not knowing and through sort of, our own doubts. We all have our own doubts from time to time, but this is a great chance to go into that place that we doubt and see what happens. Because there's gifts that want to show up to the bold. And that's one of the things that they say too, right? Fortune favors the bold. So I'm going to pull from this deck Tarot Nuet? I don't know. It's a cool deck though. 4 of Cups. Well, I guess we could feel like we're just kind of waiting. It feels like we've all been waiting for a long time, or like wanting change, or I don't know. This card feels bored to me. So if you're bored, make a change. If you're not getting the right stimulation that makes you feel excited internally, it's up to you to look out in the distance. Go, leave the step, How much do we have to sit there and ponder in some kind of state of something will come, something will come. There's a lot of initiation in the chart right now. It's like if you want it, you got to initiate. And I know, that can go against some people's human design, right? That's like a manifester thing. But I would say astrologically, we're in initiate times, regardless of any of that. So maybe it is a invitation that comes through that you have to initiate a response. Or maybe it's something just gets drawn in and you got to respond by initiating. So I feel like you have to go out for something right now if you want to feel good. You got to go do it. It's not just going to come if we're sitting around doing nothing. We could be in dreamland, but it's like taking those dreams and putting them to manifestation, action. The Emperor, that's what I'm talking about. Look at that guy. That's a bad motherfucker. I wish I could do my hair like that. I like that it's got the moon in that too. I just think that there is this powerful, divine feminine energy right now that is trying to come through to everybody to help us initiate, right? That's the card of Aries. There's something within that's saying you need to act. You need to delegate your life. You need to be in charge of your life. You need to take charge of your life and start delegating all the pieces in your life. And I'm not saying people, but the life that we want to live. So it's really, about the initiation. And I think if we just want to sit and say, oh, that's not good enough, that's not good enough, that's not good enough, well, what is good enough? Maybe we have to create better instead of just waiting for what we think is going to be good or better to come in. And the 7 of Cups in reverse, that's so funny, right? Instead of it being the 7 of Cups upright, which is like all over the place, we get it in reverse. Like there really is something more identified and singular, but it takes courage. It takes inner strength and authority, and it takes acting on intuition to move towards. And if we just maybe know what that something is, but we're just going to sit and wait forever, like, if I just sit here and envision it'll come, like that's not how the law of attraction works. Like it doesn't. You have to do things, right? You can't just, nobody can sit around and just meditate for 24 hours a day and just get everything they want to come into them, at least physically. Maybe enlightening, sure, but there is action that has to be taken and a forward moving energy to define the point that you want that's going to bring you what you want. And maybe it's just feeling right now. Maybe it's initiating the feeling that will get you ready to act. Because if you really feel and you want something badly and you're passionate, you're going to do things physically to go there, right? It's just how it works, because that's how passion works. That's very Scorpio, right? Pluto, Mars. So, what a day. I think it's great astrology. I think there's downfalls with, there's always going to be something. It's edgy as all hell. We're, on the cusp of a generational shift with Pluto. Saturn hasn't been in Pisces since 1994. I mean, these are big planets. These are way out there energies that move slow, that are making a big ingress, one after another. Mars, after a long 7 months in Gemini, is getting ready to come into Cancer. So there is a lot of change, but gosh, there is something about being able to pick your road right now and to really own it. To own the identity of what you want to expand and what you want to create and how you want to relate your identification of life to another and to the exterior world. But yeah, Chiron's there, and we can all feel definitely a sense of, I can't. I just don't have it. They have it. I don't. I just can't muster that up to go do it. Like, I don't know how people break free. I don't know how people just do what they want to do. They have, like, what about all these other things and responsibilities? I have to give myself to these people. Like, Chiron and Aries sucks. And we have it for a long time. And I'm not saying that if you're born with Chiron and Aries, you suck. But it's definitely the slowest that Chiron moves through any sign is Aries. So we all have a lot of Chiron Aries issues, whether we were born with it or not. It's no, coincidence that we have to put the most work into ourself and the I am of life, because it zips through Libra, which is kind of funny too. I was talking with Lauren. I was like, yeah, Chiron zips through Libra so fast. Like, and it reminds you of relationships, right? We'll feel like, oh, a relationship ends, we're broken, we'll never make it, we'll never be the same, until something else comes along and we're just like, oh, never mind, I'll move on. And I know some people will be way more scorpionic about that situation than others, but still, like, we move on faster. There is some sort of identity wound within us all where, gosh, really, we're all like, why are we here? Right? And we never really get the answer, so we have to come up with that and create that for ourselves. And that in itself kind of takes courage, right? So that's the thing, is we can either be too afraid to initiate and delegate our lives, or the other downfall would be that we want to be too overpowering, overbearing, harsh, controlling, and, just be some tyrant, some warrior for something that isn't even of a soul identification, but for some kind of what the world would see of you, like some perception that you just want the world to see. But it's not about that. It's about what you see in yourself. That's what's important right now. I love you all very much. I hope you enjoyed this horoscope. I hope you have a great Wednesday. Happy March 1st. Rabbit, rabbit. Two benefics, conjunct in Aries. Great aspects from a moon dignified in Cancer. Strong, potent day. So go be potent, live your best life, identify, and open doors. This is a time where you want to open doors to your future and not wait for someone to open the door for you. I love you all very much. Have a great Wednesday. Much love. Peace.